Hi, my name is Cora. Today I'm going to show you how to create fuzzy flocked fingernails, just like what you see here. Basically they are in fact tactile and fuzzy. It is just by using some really basic tools, nothing really special. The first thing that you're going to need is a base coat, because whatever nail polish you're using to adhere the flocking to your nail, it needs to be a fairly thick formula with a lot of pigment in it. So make sure that you use your base coat so you don't wind up with nail staining. You're also going to need a polish that is, like I said, really thick and really pigmented. Today I'm using Zoya in Ali. It also needs to match your flocking very closely, and you can see here that the colors are pretty darn close. Flocking is basically just loose fuzz. It's used in scrapbooking, so you can find it in the scrapbooking section of your local craft shop, Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, that kind of thing. It comes in a container that looks like this, with a lid that looks like a seasoning lid, like a shaker top. You can either get them individually or you can buy them in collections. I think I got this one for like $1.99 on sale. It's normally about $3 or $4. You can get big packs of 12 for about $14. It obviously gives you more colors, but there's less in each tube, so that's another way to go about getting more variety. So the first thing you just need to do is put on your base coat, making sure it covers all of the nail. Just like that. Then you need to apply your first coat of your base polish. It's very important in this step that you get it all the way to the edge. You can always clear it up with a little bit of acetone and a sharp brush using the Megan chair method after the fact. If you don't get it all the way to the sides, you're going to wind up with some blotchiness. So put on your first coat there, let it dry for just a little bit. For speed's sake in this video, I'm going to go ahead and put on my second coat right away. The second coat needs to be very, very thick. So lay it on much thicker than you typically would. Very, very thick. And then moving very quickly, while it's still wet, you just open up your flocking, make sure you open up the perforated side, and sprinkle a lot on that nail. Now it helps if you have something laid down to catch the excess, that way you're not being wasteful, but sprinkle a lot. When you think you have enough on there, you probably don't. Sprinkle some more. Your entire tip of your thumb or finger needs to be covered in the flocking. Now the next step, and this is the tricky part, you need to press it into the nail without smudging the powder. I usually do outside and then a stripe right down the middle to get as much of that flocking pressed in there as possible. And I usually do that about twice. Make sure you get the sides of your nails so you don't end up with any bald spots, and the tip as well. Now sometimes if you notice yourself pressing too hard and you press all the way down to the powder, down to the base coat, you can kind of see where I did that there. Just add a little bit more flocking and press again. And it'll sit just fine. Then when the nail is totally coated, you just tap it, or you can clap your hands if you've just done your whole hand, and brush whatever extra you have off the side. And then, as I mentioned, you're going to want to clear up the sides here with the Megan chair method to make it nice and flat. You can see the finished product over here. This has actually been on my nails for about 2 days, so it has worn off in places. This is what it looks like fairly fresh. I'd say it stays this nice for about a little bit less than a day. After a day's worth of hand washings and general wear and tear, it does tend to wear off a little bit, but these are still pretty fuzzy and tactile. The pushing in part is very, very important. I did do an experiment where I pushed it into the paint on one hand and then did not on the other hand. The other hand looked really cool for about a day because it was just a lot more tactile and fluffy, but it wore off and got blotchy really quickly. And that's the last thing you want, are like bald spots on your nails. It looks really funky. Okay, so there's how to create fuzzy, fluffy, flocked fingernails.